Hey, what's up YouTube? Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the camera quality of the iPhone 5S to the Samsung Galaxy S4. I'll be looking at both the front-facing and rear-facing cameras, as well as images and videos too. Now do look out for the audio icon in the corner of the screen. That will indicate to you which device the audio is coming from too. And I'll be switching between these two to give you guys a better idea of the differences in audio as well. So initially we are using the front-facing cameras on both of these devices. We're indoors with some decent lighting. Now one thing to note already is that the S4 has a 1080p front-facing camera, whereas the iPhone 5S only has a 720p front-facing camera. So you may notice a difference straight away in terms of resolution. So now let's head outside and test out the rear-facing cameras. Do hit that thumbs up button and let's get straight to it. Okay, so we're currently outdoors and we're using the rear-facing cameras on both of these devices. Fortunately, it's a very dull day, so this is the sort of weather that you expect in this month where I'm from anyway. So unfortunately we can't do too much about that, but we're recording with 1080p on both of the rear-facing cameras, and this is the sort of quality that you can expect from both of these here. And here's some close-up of some flowers. So we've got some different colors. We've got some yellows here with some reds down below, so hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the differences in quality between these two devices. So now we're indoors with the Samsung Galaxy S4. It's relatively low lighting, and just testing the autofocus out. The autofocus is quite impressive on the Samsung Galaxy S4, quite quick and snappy, and you can always touch to focus if needed, and if you want to pin onto any point. And this is the sort of quality that you can expect indoors on the Samsung Galaxy S4 with relatively low lighting. Now we've got the iPhone 5S. Again, same lighting as we had with the S4, and just looking at the autofocus, seems to do a pretty decent job, and we can also touch to focus if needed. And the touch to focus actually works a lot better than the iPhone 5, which used to have that search back and forth, but this is the sort of quality that you can expect with the iPhone 5S. So that was the video. Now let's have a look at some images. We'll begin with the front-facing cameras. So here are some selfies that everybody uses on Instagram, and you can see the differences here. I'd say the iPhone 5S has more warmer tones, whereas the S4 has the cooler tones. Now if you look at my jacket, the leather jacket, I do think that the S4 is doing a better job with the detail on here, as well as the colors are a little bit more accurate on the S4. Moving on to an outdoor shot, we've got some flowers here, lots of color. Both are doing a very good job here. I'd say the iPhone 5S again a little bit warmer, but both are doing a very good job, and lots of color and detail on both of these images. Now one of the things that you do have to bear in mind is that the S4 has a 13 megapixel camera, whereas the iPhone 5S has an 8 megapixel camera. So if we do go in 100%, you can clearly see here that the S4 has a lot more detail, and it's a larger image as well, so you can crop in further on the S4. And on the iPhone 5S, it's still a decent image, but I'll definitely give the edge here to the S4 because of that high resolution. Another outdoor image, a wide outdoor image this time, and there was an overcast and just a plain white in the sky, as you can see here. Now both seem to be doing quite similarly here. I would say that the S4 has a tad more contrast than the iPhone 5S, but not a huge deal of difference here. Now looking at an indoor image in a good lighting, now both are quite similar. Again, I'd say the iPhone 5S this time has a little bit more contrast than the S4, but very similar overall. Now moving on to an indoor image in low light, you can clearly see the iPhone 5S is doing a better job here. You've got a much brighter image on the iPhone 5S compared to the S4. Now an image using the LED flashes on both of these devices. The iPhone 5S seems to be a little bit more neutral. The colors do look better, and I think that's down to the dual LED flash. The S4 is doing a pretty standard job here, but it is a little bit too warm, I think. So I would give the edge of the flash to the iPhone 5S here. So that was my comparison of the iPhone 5S cameras versus the Samsung Galaxy S4 cameras. Overall, I would say in good light, the S4 does perform better. It has much more detail and a much higher resolution, 13 megapixels, which is a big advantage.
Low light, however, the iPhone 5s does seem to perform better. You've got much brighter images because of the larger pixels on the sensor of the iPhone 5s. Front facing camera, I would give the edge again to the S4 because of that high resolution. You've got 1080p compared to 720p, so you've got some more detail on the S4, and I also preferred the tones on the S4. I thought they were a little bit more natural. Now in terms of audio, once again, the iPhone 5s has mono audio, a single channel of audio, as with the iPhone 5. It's a very expensive phone, and I would have liked to have seen 2 channels of audio, stereo sound, like the S4 has. And you must have noticed that the S4 was much louder than the 5s, and the sound was a lot more rich, so I did prefer the sound on the S4 because of the stereo sound. That's what I think anyway. What do you think? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you do want to see more images from both devices, then do go ahead onto Instagram and give me a follow. I am at SuperSafTV, and I regularly post images from lots of different smartphones, so you can check those out there. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSafTV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below.